What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I'm going to bring you a test hand combo video for the Cool Tune Ghost Sister profile I showed you all the other day. Now this deck is very reactive just because it plays so many hand interactions. It's absolutely crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through two test hands going first and two going second. So you can see what the deck wants to try and achieve by building a field, and then also how they're going to try and pull apart a field that your opponent may have produced. So, with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you miss out on any more upcoming content. After a very decent shuffle and a good old cut, our opening hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now Delta I'm not the biggest fan of when you're going first. Like going second, this is actually really good because you just like Delta interact with your opponent. But going first, there's not really any spell cards that your opponent can activate that Delta's going to be useful for you. So the benefit of this one is the fact that it's a level 2 tuner, so you can utilize it in the hand for some synchro plays. We also have the ability to activate our Cool Tune Synchro during the draw phase. In doing so, it gives us the ability to play around Draw and Lockbird for our first search, because you'd activate the Cool Tune Synchro, search out something like your Cool Tune Kewl, and then if your opponent does activate a Draw or Lockbird, they won't be able to do that until you do your next search. That's absolutely fine. The only downside of activating the Cool Tune Synchro during the draw phase is it then doesn't let us play around cards like Imperm or Veiler because it won't allow us to use it as a target dodge on one of these cards here. So you've got two options, entirely up to you. If we were to go Cool Tune Synchro now, activate it, grab us Q, normal summon Q, and our opponent goes Imperm or Veiler, then we can still produce a Synchro summon, absolutely fine. We just don't get as much value as we would have liked. Whereas on the flip side of this, we can actually very easily go normal summon down Cool Tune Mix. Now the reason I prefer to do it this way is you'll see I have a way to dodge not so much dodge the Draw and Lockbird, I'll still get the search off the back of the Cool Tune Mix, but it lets me go a little bit further and protects this a little bit more. So I'll play it out and you can see exactly what we've got. So we go normal summon Cool Tune Mix, utilize this effect to add a Cool Tune monster that is not a level 2 from the deck to the hand. If our opponent ashes us, that's fine, it means our Cool Tune Synchro can resolve. If our opponent tries to Imperm or Veiler this, we can chain the Cool Tune Synchro and get exactly what we need to, allowing this to dodge the effect and then get us access to a Cool Tune monster while also producing a Synchro summon. So I'll give you those examples now. We go Chain Link 1 Cool Tune Mix and our opponent goes Chain Link 2 Infinite Impermanence. I'll go Chain Link 3 Cool Tune Synchro. So on the Chain Link 3, I'm going to add from the deck to the hand a Cool Tune Clip. I'm then going to Synchro Summon using our Cool Tune Mix plus the Delta in the hand, as the Delta is just kind of free Synchro fodder as it currently stands. And we're going to go into a Tuner Synchro Monster being our Cool Tune Track Maker. So now what we do is we resolve the Cool Tune Mix. This will allow us to grab a non-level 2. So we're going to be able to grab ourselves our Cool Tune Q. Then on a new chain, we're going to be able to go Chain Link 1 will be our Cool Tune Track Maker, as we were able to dodge the target effect of the said Imperm or Veiler. Now if our opponent does interact with us here at the Cool Tune Track Maker, we can still perform a Synchro Summon of a Synchro level 6, but also remember now that we've got the guaranteed access to the Cool Tune Clip, we can also use this to interact during our opponent's turn. We do want to be able to resolve our Cool Tune Trap Maker, so this will be one of those sticking points. If your opponent stops this, it's going to be a much weaker end field, but it's still going to be quite annoying for your opponent to deal with. So as we resolve our Cool Tune Track Maker, we get to get hold of the JJ Cool Tune. Now remember, in theory, if our opponent didn't use an Imperm or Veiler and they're like, you know what, I'm actually going to save the Imperm and Veiler for the Trap Maker, you could still just resolve the Cool Tune Mix, you would still have hold of your Cool Tune Synchro, make your Synchro level 4, and then you go Chain Link 1 this, and your opponent goes, cool, Imperm Veiler, and you still have your Cool Tune Synchro to do the exact same outcome. So you can always dodge the first Imperm or Veiler that something has like this, or even the first targeted effect. As we resolve this, we're now going to activate our JJ Cool Tune, which is going to give us an additional normal summon for this turn. So we're going to normal summon down our Cool Tune Q. This will then allow us to special summon 1 from the deck. And again, if this was to get ashed, I'd be absolutely amazed, because if anything, you're going to ash this, or you're going to ash this. So at this point here, you've probably already checked for that, but maybe they've got an ash and a purge. You never know. We're going to resolve the Cool Tune Q. It's going to get us access to the Red Nova directly from the deck. Now in an ideal scenario, you kind of want to make a Synchro level 4 here, But keeping in mind that the Cool Tune Trap Maker has already done its job, the only reason you want to keep it around is so that you can utilize it during your opponent's turn. So that's when you're going to be able to use its graveyard effect of when it's sent as synchro material. But even then, you've got a couple of different options you can play with, depending on what you want to try and achieve. So now what we've got here is we can actually work our way into a second tune maker if you wanted to. And that's the only kind of like downside with something like Red Nova is the fact that it's a level 1. We can synchro into a level 5 here, which is absolutely fine, but the only level 5s we can get into both require specifically Cool Tune Mix or Cool Tune Retco. So it'd be really cool if this could have treated itself as any Cool Tune monster, would have been really useful. Otherwise, at this moment in time, we've got the ability to use both of these to go into a second Cool Tune Trap Maker, which is why the Trap Maker is probably one of those ones that you don't mind playing it at 3 of. So we'll go into a second Trap Maker, not the end of the world, we're not going to be able to get a search of this because it's a hard once per turn, but we'll be able to go Chain Link 1 Red Nova and Chain Link 2 Kewl. Kewl will then look at the top 2 cards of our opponent's deck, banish one of them and put one back to the top or bottom of the deck, and then Red Nova will get us direct access to our Retco. So we're going to get direct access to the Retco from the deck, then we're going to use Retco's effect here. This is going to allow us to grab a Cool Tune monster that is not a level 3, so we can go for a Cool Tune Mix, so that we've got a monster disruption during our opponent's turn. We can then use the ability of Cool Tune Retco to synchro summon using our hand as material. Now it's up to you. If you want to get into a Cool Tune Remix, you would use these two, or if you want to go into a Cool Tune RS, you could also use these two as well. It's entirely up to you. You could use Cool Tune Clip. I would only use Cool Tune Clip if I plan to go into Remix, because at least Remix can get this added back to the hand. So a couple of different things you want to keep an eye on. It really is up to you whether you want the target negate or whether you want the ability to synchro summon off of the back with Cool Tune Remix. You can kind of get the best of both no matter what you want to go for, but I'm actually going to work my way into the Cool Tune RS first. There we go. Just going to put these here. Now our RS is currently up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is 1,800 stronger in attack, so it would be 3,500 in attack. And we're going to pass our turn here. Now, it's not the most oppressive. If I wanted to, I could use JJ Cool Tune to tribute off one of these, but I actually want to use these as synchro material during my opponent's turn, and I'll show you exactly why we're going to be doing that. So during our opponent's turn, we've got the negate off the back of the Cool Tune RS by banishing any tuner from the grave, so we'll banish our Delta. Then we've got the ability to summon down our Cool Tune Clip, and then synchro with one of our Trap Makers to work our way into our Cool Tune Loudness War. In doing so, we'll be able to trigger off the effect of the Trap Maker to non-target return a card on the field to our opponent's hand, and then use the Cool Tune Clip to take one from our opponent's extra deck. In doing so, we now have the ability that if our opponent activates anything, our Cool Tune Loudness War can banish a Cool Tune from the graveyard and then apply its effect. So we now have the ability to non-target return a card, banish from the top of the deck, destroy a spell or trap, or destroy a monster. So we're kind of covered on all the bases on that one. On top of that as well, these two can't be targeted via card effects and they can't be destroyed by card effects, which makes it very, very awkward to deal with. And we've made the Cool Tune RS stronger by 1. So this is now currently up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rather than 6. So that's an additional 21. So it's now on a 3,800 attack stats. As this then comes back to us, we'll draw for turn. As long as our opponent has a tuner on the field or grave, this gains 3,300 attacks, so it's actually very strong. We've also got the RS that now has its negate back online, and we can very easily just go cool, normal summon down the Retco. Retco searches out a Cool Tune Mix, synchro with the mix, destroy a spell, destroy a monster, and then you just build up and up and up and up from there. So that's it for the first test stand going first. I went into like different options and different avenues there just to give you a bit more of an insight. Whereas with the future test stands, we're kind of just going to play through what this deck can do. And that's why you got a couple of different options on this one. I feel Pot of Extravagance doesn't really respect Droll that much. Yes, of course, you could use the Cool Tune Synchro, which would then give you a direct search, which is absolutely fine. I quite like using the Cool Tune Synchro as a reactive spell, because it also means that your opponent has to, like, your opponent will burn something on it. So if your opponent burns an Imperm or an Ash, like an Imperm or a Vela, or even like a Fallen and the Virtuous, the only time it's a bad thing to hold back the Cool Tune Synchro is if your opponent has Droll. But then if they have the Droll, you just chain the Cool Tune Synchro anyway and still get the search of the Cool Tune Synchro as well as then performing a Synchro Summon if you wanted to. So after another decent shovel and a good old cut, our starting hand going first this time will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so again, we're in actually a really nice position here. because we've got the Cool Tune Synchro that lets us dodge some targets, and I'll show you the first time that we search a card is going to be once we've already got a decent bit of an advantage. So we normal summon down the Cool Tune clip, uses effect. Now, this is probably one of the biggest issues, that if your opponent interacts with this, that's where it gets a little bit awkward, for the pure fact that the best thing I can do is use clip and Kewl, but even then, there's no level 5 synchro that uses Kewl and clip. So this would actually be the worst one for our opponent to ash us on. We would still have the ability to activate the Cool Tune Synchro, which would get us mix, which means then we can perform a Synchro Summon. So you still have ways to play. If our opponent tries to target this, we activate Cool Tune Synchro. If our opponent tries to ash this, we also activate Cool Tune Synchro. Like, the only time that this would falter is if your opponent goes Imperm or Veiler, chain Cool Tune Synchro, chain ash, and then you've traded a 2 for 2. So that's kind of where you'd be looking at it. So we're going to resolve the Cool Tune Q. This is going to bring out the Red Nova. We're then going to synchro these two together. We're going to go into Trap Maker. Chaining 1, Trap Maker. Chaining 2, Red Nova. Chaining 3 will be the Q. Q will look at the top 2 cards of our opponent's deck, banish 1, put 1 to the top of the bottom. Red Nova gives direct access to the Retco. Retco on a new chain after we resolve Trap Maker, which will get us our JJ Cool Tune. Will then get us a Cool Tune monster that is not a level 3. So they'll get us the Cool Tune Mix. Now, this is what I quite like the idea behind the Red Nova, is that the Red Nova can also get you access to the Crimson Resonator, which would search you out your Cool Tune Retco if you want that material on the hand, but it could also get you into the Flame Crime. The only issue with the Flame Crime is that it's not a tuner. It's not a tuner. So the issue with that one is that you won't be able to summon it off of the back of Red Nova, because you'll lock yourself into only being able to special on tuners. The benefit is that it's a non-tuner. So if you're able to use Red Nova in the hand because you have, for example, your Cool Tune clip on the field is negated, or you've got Retco on the field, it could then get you direct access to a non-tuner level 4, which in turn would open itself up for like a Coral Dragon. But the tuner lock can be quite annoying sometimes. So now that we've searched out our Cool Tune clip, Cool Tune, JJ Cool Tune, then as we open up the door, before we get to go for the Retco, we'll be able to go Chaining 1 Retco. Our opponent will then be able to go Chaining 2 Droll. So that's the first time Droll can come into play, which would shut off access to the mix. But even if they shut off access to the mix, we just chain the Cool Tune Synchro, get the mix anyway, and then perform the Synchro Summon. So we're back to square one, basically. So now what we're going to want to do is, again, activate our JJ Cool Tune. This will give us the additional normal summon. So we're going to want to normal summon down our Cool Tune Mix. This will then let us grab another level 3. So the one you're going to want to go for will be a Q if you've already got the Retco, or the Retco if you want to be able to get that spell destruction during your opponent's turn. We can, of course, use Cool Tune, JJ Cool Tune, to tribute off one of our tuners. Honestly, I don't think we need to right now. We're actually just in a fairly decent position where we can make a synchro play of whatever we want to do. So I'm actually going to hold back the Cool Tune Synchro now and set this card. And then what you want to do here is you want to use a level 2, which will unfortunately have to be clip, to get us into our RS. And then you'll use Cool Tune Mix plus the Q to get us into our remix. Now, in a different scenario, you would also just go straight for... Like, the only reason you go for remix is if you want to be able to get your clip back. But keep in mind, we can also get clip from our Cool Tune Synchro, so it's not the end of the world. As we now pass to our opponent's turn, what we currently have here is we've got the ability that if we use our Cool Tune Track Maker, we get the ability to non-target return a card our opponent controls to the hand. We've got a target negate off the back of the Cool Tune RS. Then we've got the ability of Cool Tune Remix to tag itself out, add a tuner from the graveyard back to the hand, and special summon one of them, and then perform a Synchro Summon. So I'm going to play for our opponent's turn just so you can kind of see what we've got, because whatever we end up using as Synchro Summon material, we'll get other disruptions as well. So during our opponent's turn, let's say we use our Cool Tune RS effect there to negate, and then we want to be able to use our Cool Tune Remix to tribute off. And you can do this as early as you want, but you kind of want to make sure you maximize your interruption to your opponent. And in doing so, you can bring back whatever you really want to work yourself into. The idea is that you're just trying to use the materials to get you disruption. So we don't have to complete the Synchro Summon here. You don't have to complete the Synchro Summon with what you bring back. So if I want to get the search off of the mix, I could just use the clip to Synchro, but you kind of want to use this as a disruption. You don't really need to go too far. So I'm going to add the clip back to the hand. Of course, like I said already, if I want to use the clip now to take one from my opponent's extra deck, I can do. because I got the Cool Tune Synchro to do the job for me. But that's kind of going to give us the ability to either go into another track maker if I want to here, or I'm just going to use the Retco plus the mix. We can synchro into another RS, we can synchro it into another mix, it doesn't remix, it doesn't make much of a difference which one we go for. The idea is that you want to make sure you're using mix and Retco, because you'll now get the ability to destroy a monster and then destroy a monster and then destroy a spell or trap. If that wasn't enough, we still have the ability to use our Cool Tune clip to summon down and then perform a synchro summon with the maker in itself, going into a loudness war. In doing so, we now get to use the trap maker to non-target return a monster from the card from the field to the hand, and then the effective clip to banish one from our opponent's extra deck. We've now got the ability that if our opponent activates anything, we can use our loudness war to either banish another one from the extra deck, so that's 2 rips. That's another non-target return. I'm pretty sure it can also target... Yeah, we just need to banish a Cool Tune monster from the graveyard, apply that banish monster's effect that activates when it's sent to the grave of synchro material. So we can also use Trap Maker to non-target return. We can destroy another spell or trap, we can destroy another monster, and if we want to, we can look at the top 2 cards of our opponent's deck and banish one. So you've got loads of options on that one. So let's say we just use one of those, like destroy a monster. There we go, we've done that. And then we still have the ability of our Cool Tune Synchro if we wanted to. So there's a couple of different options you can work towards. This one probably isn't going to lead us to anywhere because we do need like a Cool Tune level 1 at the moment, which would be really kind of cool to get access to. Because the fact of the matter is Mix can search a non-level 2, and Retco can search a non-level 3. So at the end of the day, if we have level 1s, both of them can search out a level 1, which is crazy consistent. So that's it for our second test hand going first. Now we're going to do our test hand going second. And this is where kind of getting the ability of the Cool Tune Synchro can be very, very important. So we're going to shuffle these up. We will cut up, and then keeping in mind as well, we have a lot of hand interactions, like a lot of the Ghost Sisters. So we'll start to utilize those, start to interact with our opponent. That's where like Delta and Gamma really come into the fray as well. That's when you can start to kind of maximize your disruptions on your opponent. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have no doubt in my mind that I have gammoned my opponent and I have veiled my opponent. Like, I highly expect there is no reason why I would never use either of those. So they are both going to get used, and then they are both going to get banished. So we've made our opponent's end field a little bit weaker. We're going to draw for turn. I don't think there's any point in using the Cool Tune Synchro right now. I'm actually quite happy to save it. So I'll start off by normal summoning down the Retco, and at this point here I can go chaining 1 Retco, and if my opponent wants to try and interact with the Retco itself, I can use the Cool Tune Synchro and then perform a Synchro Summon. So the benefit is I will also be able to target, dodge a targeted effect, disrupt cards as well. So there's a lot more I can do here. Let's say, I mean, assuming we're going second as well, the chances are our opponent will have some form of interaction. So let's say they try to interact with this, whether it be destroying it, whether it be negating it, I will chain the Cool Tune Synchro. Obviously, if they negate this as well, then we've traded off a Gamma for one of theirs, a Veiler for one of theirs, and then they've traded off 2 cards for 2 of ours. So we still have the ability to activate the JJ Cool Tune, normal summon down Ash Blossom, use Cool Tune to tribute this off, and then get us Mix, and we'd still be able to play. So it's not the end of the world. So let's say they try to destroy the Retco or disrupt the Retco in one way or another. We're going to chain the Cool Tune Synchro. This will let us add one. Now it's very important you know, like you add one that's going to be useful for you. So we're just going to add the Mix. And in doing so, we'll then perform the Synchro Summon. So we're going to Synchro Summon these 2 together. You can go for a Mix or you can go for the RS. I'm going to go for the RS in this scenario. We'll then be able to resolve the Retco. Retco can then grab us Clip. Probably should have gone the other way. Well, I mean, Retco should probably just grab you another Mix. There's no reason not to have another Mix, I guess. So grab the other Mix. We've now got the ability to destroy a spell or trap our opponent controls and destroy a monster our opponent controls. So that's 2 more spot removal already done. Our RS currently is up by 369, so it's on 26. We've got the ability to activate the JJ Cool Tune. We can normal summon down our Cool Tune Mix, use the effect to grab us a level 3. Now you could grab Q, but Q only works on normal summon, so I'm actually just going to grab another Retco, so I've got disruption during my opponent's turn. Or if I just want to go into a remix, I can do as well. Doesn't make much of a difference here. I could use JJ Cool Tune to tribute off the Cool Tune Mix, which would then in turn give me access to pretty much any kind of Cool Tune monster I wanted, but I don't think there's really anything worthwhile going on in here. So we can just perform the Synchro Summon. Won't be able to destroy anything, sadly, but it does get us into Remix. Now, Remix is currently 3,000 while your opponent has a tuner on the field or graveyard. And then our RS is up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is up by 15. So we've got 3,000 here, and then we've got 3,200 here. So that's 6,200. Back into a simplified game state. We've got RS that can banish any of these from the graveyard. And then what we have is we pass our opponent's turn. Our opponent gets ashed. Then we can use Remix to tribute off to add one back and summon one back. So let's add back Mix, summon back Retco. Perform the synchro summon that we want to. We can either go into an RS or we can go into a Remix. In doing so, we can now destroy a spell, destroy a monster. So we've been able to get 2 more disruptions. We still have the RS to then use its effect to banish a tuner from the graveyard to negate. And then it comes back to us. We draw for turn. Doesn't matter what we draw for turn. Switch this to attack position, attack, and attack. And that should be enough for game. If it's not enough for game, we can still normal summon down clip, use tune to get rid of the clip. And then that will get us into a Retco. Retco then gets us into our last mix. Where's the last mix? Last mix. If we want to, or you just go for another clip. I mean, that's probably like the safest option. You just go for a clip. And then what you have here is it means you can synchro during your opponent's turn. So, and that should be enough to push the game off, to pick the field apart and run around a couple of different disruptions, which is cool. Okay, now let's do our final test hand going first. So after another decent shuffle and a good old cut, our final test hand going second will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Talk about the Sisters United. Wow, okay. Well, we're going to Delta our opponent. I don't think their field's going to be, like, unless they have immunities against Bells, Mourners, and Ogres, their end field's going to be pretty not so great. So Delta their spell, Ogre, one of their monsters or traps or spells or anything, will Bell one of their revivals, will Mourner one of their monsters, and then all we need to hope for is that they don't have Ash or that we top deck a card that lets us play. But we have traded 4 cards for what would possibly be 4 cards of their own. So if we have traded 1 for 1 every single time, they will have 1 monster left on the field because the Mourner wouldn't get rid of it, and then they would have 1 card left in the hand or set or anything else in between. So we'll draw for turn, and our draw for turn is Retco. So like we could have drawn Retco, Kewl, Mix. I think the only one that wouldn't have been good for us to top there would have been Clip. But even then, with Synchro Overtake, we still get the decent end of the deal. So we'll activate Overtake. Overtake's effect will special summon out Mix, lock us into Synchro Summoning, doesn't matter. Mix effect will grab us a non-level 2, so we're going to grab a Q. There we go, we'll grab the Q. Normal summon of Q. Q will grab us Red Nova. Red Nova will synchro with Q into Maker. The only thing I need to worry about is an Nibiru on this one. Chaining 1, Chaining 2 will be Red Nova, Chaining 3 will be Q. Q looks at the top 2, banishes 1, puts 1 to the top of the bottom. Red Nova summons out our Retco. Trap Maker grabs us our JJ Cool Tune. Retco effect grabs us a level 2, grabs us a Clip. We can either hard synchro these 2. Let's activate our JJ Cool Tune. There's no real benefit in normal summoning a monster in addition. We don't really get anything there. The biggest benefit of activating JJ Cool Tune is when we synchro summon, we can actually get a bit more advantage from it. So if we're going aggression, you'd synchro these 2 together and you go into your Loudness War. Assuming your opponent's got a tuner on the field or grave, this goes up to 3/3. Then you would also produce a synchro summon here with Retco and Clip, which will give us your RS. RS is currently up by 1, 2, 3. Not to mention as well, we would have non-targeted returned a card our opponent controls from the field. We would have destroyed a monster, and then we would destroy a spell or trap. So of those 4 change-offs we got at the start, keeping in mind these are banished, of the 4 change-offs we got at the start, we've then been able to pick off more from the field. But our RS is up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is up by 2,700, which makes it 4,000. wait, 4,000? 1, 2, yeah, so 2,700. So it goes up to 4,400, I think, which is really annoying. So we'd have to use our additional normal summon for our Retco just to get the last bit of damage off. Otherwise, it would have been sitting here. But like, if it's just top decking, this negates the first top deck. Like, no matter what that top deck is, our RS negates it. So that's pretty much game. Anyway, that is it for the entire video. Hopefully this gives you a bit of an insight into what the deck wants to try and do. I do like the deck. I think it's still got the most potential depending on what we get in the future, but I think it's going to take quite a bit of time to give it everything it needs. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe and happy dueling.